Hear this with all your heart, for today I bring you the truth of a power far beyond our own understanding, the power of stillness. In the face of disrespect, when the world mocks and insults you, when it seems the sting of the world's harshness is too much to bear, there is something greater at work. You don't need to raise your voice or lash out. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to shout you're innocent. There is power in the silence that follows disrespect. In a world that is quick to react, quick to speak and quick to fight, the one who can remain silent in the face of disrespect exhibits a power that cannot be easily understood. It is not an absence of emotion, but rather a deep well of inner strength, a strength that rises from within and holds steady against the storms of provocation. To remain silent when the world seeks to ignite anger in you is to recognize that your power does not come from the battle itself, but from the grace with which you handle the challenge. In silence you reclaim your dignity and show that you are not swayed by the whims of others, but anchored firmly in your own peace. Resilience is not about being unaffected by the world around you. It is not about denying the emotions that arise within you when you are wronged. No, resilience is the ability to choose how to respond. It is the power to control your impulses and to decide whether you will let the noise of the world disturb your soul. The person who chooses silence over reaction is not weak. They are strong in a way that goes far beyond the fleeting victories of angry words or rash acts. They understand that to react in anger is to lose control, to give away the one thing that can never be taken from them, their peace of mind. Silence in the face of disrespect is an act of defiance, but not the defiance that comes from confrontation. It is the defiance that rises when you refuse to let someone else dictate how you will feel. When someone insults you or wrongs you, they seek to control your emotions, to bring you down to their level. But when you remain silent, you take the power back. You demonstrate that their words do not have the power to move you, that their actions do not define your worth. In this silence, there is a quiet strength, a message to the world that you will not be moved by external forces. Your strength is found in your ability to stand firm, unmoved by the chaos around you. This resilience also speaks to the courage it takes to resist the urge to defend oneself in the moment. It takes an immense amount of courage to remain silent when every fiber of your being screams to speak, to shout, to make your case known. But the truly resilient individual understands that sometimes the loudest voice is not the one that shouts the most, but the one that remains calm in the face of adversity. There is power in waiting. There is power in the space between provocation and response. In this space, you allow yourself the freedom to choose, to gather your thoughts and to act in a way that is aligned with your true self, rather than reacting impulsively to the emotions that arise in the heat of the moment. Finally, the strength found in silence goes hand in hand with a profound understanding of the world's impermanence. The one who remains silent in the face of disrespect knows that no storm lasts forever. They understand that people's words, however harsh, are temporary, and that their reactions will fade with time. Silence is the act of trusting that the truth will come to light on its own, and that no matter how loud the noise of the moment may seem, it is but a passing thing. Through this understanding, the resilient person exhibits patience, and with patience they find peace. They realize that true strength is not about making noise, but about maintaining composure while the noise fades away. Self-control over impulse is one of the greatest markers of emotional maturity. In moments of conflict, especially when disrespected or provoked, our first instinct is often to react, to lash out, to defend ourselves, or to retaliate in some way. It's a natural response, driven by the body's instinct to protect and defend. However, emotional maturity comes when we can recognize that these initial reactions are often governed by impulse, not by wisdom. True self-control does not mean suppressing or ignoring these feelings. It means acknowledging them but choosing not to act on them impulsively. Instead of rushing to strike back, we take a pause, creating space for rational thought and emotional clarity. The ability to resist the impulse to retaliate is in many ways an act of personal mastery. It's easy to give in to the moment, to respond to someone's harsh words with equal venom. It feels right in that moment, and the satisfaction of delivering a quick response can be tempting, but this immediate reaction is often born from a place of wounded pride, not from a place of wisdom. When we give in to these impulses, we let the situation dictate our emotional state, surrendering our power to the other person's words or actions. It's only when we resist that temptation to immediately lash out that we take control of the situation, and more importantly, we take control of our own peace. Emotional maturity requires us to recognize the difference between an immediate reaction and a measured response. The immediate response is often driven by the desire to prove ourselves, to defend our dignity, or to maintain a sense of superiority. However, such a response typically brings more harm than good. It may escalate the situation, create unnecessary conflict, or lead to further resentment. When we take the time to pause before reacting, we give ourselves the opportunity to process the situation thoughtfully. Instead of letting emotions govern us, we allow our higher sense of judgment, our wisdom, and our core values to shape our response. In the moments when we choose not to act impulsively, we create space for understanding. Instead of merely reacting to the hurt or insult we've received, we can reflect on the situation from a broader perspective. Perhaps the person who disrespects us is struggling with their own pain, projecting their anger onto us. Maybe their words have nothing to do with us at all. By allowing ourselves that moment of pause, we are no longer trapped by the emotional charge of the situation. We recognize that there is more at play, and we can choose to respond with empathy rather than hostility. This thoughtful pause enables us to rise above the situation rather than becoming entangled in it. Self-control also allows us to maintain our integrity in the face of disrespect. When we respond impulsively, we risk lowering ourselves to the level of those who disrespect us. We may engage in behavior that contradicts our values, letting emotions dictate our actions. But when we resist the urge to strike back immediately, we are choosing to maintain our own standards of behavior. We remain grounded in our principles and are not swayed by the turbulence of the moment. This act of restraint speaks to the strength of character, as it demonstrates that we are governed by higher values, not by fleeting emotions or the desire for instant gratification. Taking the time to reflect before reacting also gives us the opportunity to consider the long-term consequences of our actions. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to overlook the impact of our words and behavior. A sharp retort or a quick retaliation might feel good temporarily, but it often leaves lasting damage, both to the relationship and to our own peace of mind. By choosing self-control, we allow ourselves to consider how our actions will affect the situation in the future. Will our response lead to resolution, or will it breed more conflict? Will it promote healing, or will it create further division? In this way, self-control over impulse is not only a sign of emotional maturity, but a step toward creating more meaningful and productive outcomes in our interactions. Self-control over impulse is also closely linked to personal growth and the development of a deeper sense of self-awareness. When we resist the urge to immediately react, we have the opportunity to examine why we feel the way we do. What triggers this emotional response? Why does the other person's words or actions affect us so deeply? This introspective process helps us to better understand ourselves, our values, and the sources of our emotional reactions. Through this self-reflection, we can begin to address any unresolved feelings or insecurities that might be influencing our responses. It becomes a tool for personal growth, not just for maintaining calm in the moment. Lastly, by practicing self-control and resisting impulsive reactions, we ultimately cultivate a sense of peace and balance in our lives. It is a skill that allows us to maintain composure in situations that would otherwise overwhelm us. When we stop reacting out of impulse, we stop allowing external forces to control our emotional state. This inner calm and centeredness give us the strength to face challenges without being swept away by them. In choosing to wait, in choosing to breathe before responding, we make a powerful statement that our peace is not up for negotiation, and that we will not be easily moved by the winds of others' opinions or actions. Self-control over impulse is not just about restraint. It is about creating a life that is governed by wisdom rather than reaction. In the face of injustice or disrespect, it is natural to feel a deep urge to take matters into our own hands, to correct what has been wronged, to seek revenge, or to immediately seek retribution. But the one who remains silent in such moments is not a passive victim. They are demonstrating something far more powerful, a trust in the universe's ability to bring justice in its own time. There is a higher law at work, a universal force of balance that operates beyond the scope of our understanding and beyond the limited perspective we have as individuals. This force knows when to act, when to bring forth the truth, and when to restore what has been taken from us. But trusting in universal justice is not a passive act, nor does it require passivity. It is an active form of faith, a deep belief that things will be set right, not through our own hands but through a force far greater than our own. When we choose to stay quiet, we are surrendering to that force, allowing it to take its course. The universe, or whatever higher power you believe in, operates in a way that is often beyond our comprehension. We may not always see the immediate effects of injustice or understand why things happen the way they do, but we can trust that there is a greater plan unfolding, one in which the truth will be revealed and the balance restored. Remaining silent in the face of disrespect or harm doesn't mean we are weak or incapable of defending ourselves. It means that we understand the limitations of our own perspective, and recognize that the time for justice is not always within our control. It may take days, months, or even years for the truth to come to light, but trust in universal justice means understanding that everything operates on divine timing. There are forces at work that will eventually bring balance, even if we cannot see it immediately. It's an exercise in patience, patience in knowing that every action will have its consequence, and every wrong will be made right, perhaps not in the way we expect, but in the way it is meant to be. One of the most profound aspects of trusting in universal justice is recognizing that the outcome may not look exactly how we imagine it should. The universe does not operate on our timelines or according to our plans. Our idea of justice may be a quick response or immediate resolution, but the universal force operates with a wisdom that transcends our own limited view. Sometimes justice arrives in unexpected ways, perhaps not through the person we thought it would or at the moment we anticipated, but it always arrives, and it often arrives in a way that brings greater healing and resolution than we could have imagined. Moreover, universal justice isn't just about the restoration of balance in situations involving others. It's also about the healing of ourselves. When we choose to stay silent and trust in universal justice, we let go of the burden of resentment and anger. Holding on to these emotions only harms us, creating an internal chaos that blocks our peace. By trusting that justice will unfold as it should, we free ourselves from the need to carry the weight of a wrong that has been done to us. We allow ourselves to heal from the hurt, knowing that the universe and its infinite wisdom will take care of the balance in the right time. In staying silent, we also acknowledge that justice is not always about getting what we believe we deserve. Sometimes it is about the lesson learned, the growth we experience in the process of waiting, and the way our own character is tested and refined. Trusting in universal justice means accepting that what is best for us may not always align with what we think is best. The universe knows the bigger picture, the unseen forces that are at work, the hidden dynamics of people and situations. When we choose silence, we are surrendering to this larger truth and allowing the universe to work its magic in ways we cannot yet comprehend. Finally, trusting in universal justice empowers us to release the need for immediate results and allows us to embrace patience. It is difficult to remain silent in the face of injustice, particularly when we feel that something must be done immediately. But trust in the larger forces at play helps us recognize that justice, true justice, often requires time to fully unfold. It is not a quick, superficial fix, but a deep, transformative process. By staying quiet and allowing that process to work, we not only contribute to the restoration of balance, but also develop a deeper understanding of the world and a stronger sense of inner peace. In the end, we find that when we trust in universal justice, we are never truly without support, for there is a force greater than us that ensures balance will always be restored, in its own time and in its own way. Choosing silence in the face of disrespect or adversity is a demonstration of faith that the outcome of the situation will be far better than anything we could force through immediate reaction. This act of faith transcends mere hope. It is a deep, unwavering belief that by stepping back and allowing the universe to unfold as it will, a greater and more meaningful result will be achieved. The immediate urge to react may feel strong, driven by the desire to protect one's honor or to seek justice in the moment. However, the one who chooses silence possesses a deeper understanding. The wisdom of restraint allows time and circumstances to shape the resolution in a way that reaction, no matter how passionate, could never achieve. This is faith in the outcome, an understanding that time will reveal the better course, even when the immediate situation seems difficult to bear. In moments of conflict, it can be tempting to act impulsively. Our emotions drive us to respond, to argue, to defend, to make our point clear, and to ensure that we are heard. These instincts come from a place of wanting immediate resolution, a desire to have our feelings acknowledged, and to restore our sense of control. However, those who practice faith in the outcome realize that immediate reactions often come from a place of emotional turbulence, not clarity. By remaining silent, they give space for the dust to settle, for emotions to subside, and for rational thought to take the lead. Faith in the outcome means trusting that, in the calm that follows the initial reaction, the situation will reveal itself more clearly, and the best path forward will emerge on its own. Faith in the outcome also involves surrendering to the unknown. When we remain silent, we are stepping away from the need to control the situation. We acknowledge that we cannot always predict the future, nor can we always dictate how others will behave or what the consequences of our actions will be. However, in choosing not to react immediately, we trust that there is a larger process at play. Whether the outcome is one of reconciliation, understanding, or simply a change in perspective, we trust that whatever unfolds is in alignment with what is meant to happen. This is a leap of faith, recognizing that even if the result is not what we expected or wanted, it will ultimately bring us something of value, whether it be growth, insight, or a deeper connection to our own truth.